Hey everybody, what's up? Mike here. So it's been a few weeks since I did another reaction video. I was gonna do more of them for Pride Month for June, but I got busy with a whole bunch of gigs. I actually had a really great gig today playing the Pride Festival in Hamilton, Ontario. That was a lot of fun. So I thought, after I got back this evening, it would be a good thing to just listen to some music. And then I thought I should do a reaction video. And I'm a big fan of Stranger Things. I just finished watching season 4. And of course, that Kate Bush song is it's everywhere. It's like the biggest song in the world right now. It's huge on TikTok. And I'm 36. I'm too old for TikTok. But it's a good tune. And I heard snippets of it throughout Stranger Things. But I realized I haven't actually heard the whole thing all the way through the original recording. And I also realized we have never reacted to a pop tune on this channel. We've done classic rock, we've done prog rock, we've done metal, symphonic metal, prog metal, all sorts of stuff. But we've never done any popular music. We've never done a pop tune. We've done blues, but we've never done pop. So today we're reacting to Kate Bush, Running Up That Hill. You know the one. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button below. Ring the bell to get notified when I post a new video, a choo-choo, as I like to call it. Give a thumbs up, a like, and please leave a comment and let me know what you think. So, for those of you who are completely new to this channel, I do musical analysis in addition to reacting, because I'm a professional musician. I'm a slide guitarist, guitar player by trade. And so what I like to do is run through the song once, just give it a good listen, and then once I've listened to it, I go back and analyze it piece by piece and delve into it and figure out what makes such a great tune. So that's what we're going to do. Kate Bush, her first album, as I understand it, came out in 1978. She was discovered by none other than David Gilmour, the great guitarist from Pink Floyd and my favorite guitar player in the whole wide world. One of them, at least. If Dave Gilmour thinks you're good, you gotta have something. So this tune came out in 1985, I was reading. That was the year I was born. Kate Bush does the vocals. She also plays a really old, giant synthesizer that she had to program called the Fairlight. And there's a drum, there's some electronic drum programming on something called a Linn drum on this tune, and actual drums. So this is going to be interesting. This is peak 80s pop music, synth pop, I guess. So yeah, let's go. I've obviously heard bits and pieces of this in Stranger Things. And by the way, Stranger Things, just one thing I gotta clear the air about Duffer Brothers. Master of Puppets tone through a Fender twin reverb with no pedals. Thrash metal tones through a Fender twin reverb with no pedals. Really? You expect me to believe that shit? That's bullshit. I just gotta get that out of the way. I love Metallica, but we're not doing Metallica today. We're doing Kate Bush today. So without any further ado, here is Kate Bush, Running Up That Hill. Make a deal with God. I don't make deals with God because I'm an atheist, but here we go. Cheesy little synth on the melody. I like it. Gallop rhythm on the bass drum. Oh, love those backing vocals. Rhythm is kind of offbeat. Nice falsetto. Here's the chorus. Love this. She's got a very unique voice. It's kind of like a mix of like pop and musical theater to my ears. She's got this very wide, expressive vibrato to her voice. Love those backing vocals. Oh, like that on Lies. Asunder? Who says asunder in a pop tune? Love this. Nice harmonies. I love how she's constantly playing with the rhythm of her vocals. Very kind of offbeat. It's cool. Yeah. Oh. Love how that chorus comes back in so strong. Love the harmonies in the background. Love that cheesy little synth doing the melody line. Oh! Oh, that guitar! Funky! Oh, yeah! Oh! Nice toms! It's a nice tom, Phil. I love the shit out of this. Grooves. Love the funky rhythm guitar going on in this channel. What was that? Whoa. So much going on in my headphones right now. These crazy vocals going on. Wow. Wow. That was, I can see why this is number one right now. It's a brilliant, brilliant fucking tune. God, there's so much going on with that. Like, and it's got such a strong melody, and I love how she just plays with the rhythm. And oh my God, there is so much to get into here. Okay, we gotta get into it. Enough of my yakking. Let's go all the way back to the beginning, and I'm just gonna stop and pause and just point out what I think is like really cool from like a arranging, composition, musician standpoint. This is just fucking brilliant. I wish they would make pop tunes like this. Honestly, like, It's simple and yet so complex at the same time. Why can't people write like this anymore? Seriously. Ugh. Anyways, I love the shit out of this. Let's start from the beginning, and yeah, here we go. From the top, I'm gonna point out what I think is like really awesome. Got that suspended chord on the pad coming in. Okay, so right off the bat, that drum machine, that Lin drum that's coming in with the boom 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 boom. You can hear a synth bass right underneath it. It's just very subtly mixed with the bass drum, and it's got that gallop rhythm. Because this is the 80s, whenever I hear that gallop rhythm, I always think of Iron Maiden. So now I'm trying to imagine Iron Maiden covering this tune with Bruce Dickinson singing it, which would be awesome. That'd be fucking amazing. But yeah, you've got the gallop from the bass drum. You've got the synth bass following the gallop, and it's just holding the root, the tonic, the whole time. And you'll notice that like when the chords start shifting around, the bass stays on the root. It is static. It does not move with those chord changes for the most part. That's really cool. That's a really neat little arranging trick. And yeah, so let's just start this back up and just, and I love that suspended chord that it starts off with. We're in C minor, by the way. Okay, so flat 6, flat 7 root chord progression. I love this cheesy little synth. It's just so quirky and weird and like so 80s, and like it like reminds me of something like I would hear in like an 80s children's cartoon. Like it sounds like something like I would hear on like fucking Fraggle Rock. And you guys ever watch Fraggle Rock when you were kids? No, am I dating myself? I'm a millennial. I love the shit out of Fraggle Rock. This totally reminds me like of the weird synths I would like hear on like Fraggle Rock as a kid. And yeah, so like, yeah, I'm really dating myself now, but I don't care. I love this weird cheesy little synth. It's got the melody. So she's on the offbeat. Oh my god. Feels. She's just got this very operatic, very musical theatery quality to her voice, especially on the low notes. And she's just so expressive. It's like she's got the type of voice that like if you trained her, if you refined it a little bit more, it could be like in one of like those old Rodgers and Hammerstein's musical, where it's like really operatic, really musical theater-ish. That's just what I'm hearing. If you all think I'm crazy, that's okay. That's okay. Oh yeah, and then the backing vocals. I gotta talk about these backing vocals. How they're just interspersed in with the main vocal. This is fucking great. It's brilliant. Listen to this. Yeah. That thing there. So like, that totally reminds me of Sting from The Police, when he would like try to imitate like the reggae singers, the Jamaican reggae singers. It just totally reminds me of something like Sting would do when like Sting is trying to do like imitation reggae. I don't know why that comes to mind, but like there's like so many little 80s references, and maybe because like maybe I don't know, maybe the Police were an influence on Kate Bush or whoever wrote this tune, because they were pretty big at the time, and Sting was pretty big too. So yeah, who knows? There's a connection. Comment and let me know. But I love these Police-esque backing vocals. Just just her expressiveness of the word feel. The hurt me, on hurt, and she really emphasizes words here, right? Like the really, like, do you want to know? Do you want to know how it feels? It doesn't hurt, right? These are all like expressing verbs, action. And so her melody line, which is brilliant and quirky in this way, it's playing with the rhythm on the offbeats, but it's putting the strong emphasis, the strong beats on these action words: know, feel, hurt, and really emphasizing the message of the tune. Great delivery on the vocals. Just thought I'd point that out. See? Here, she emphasizes here, and then the deal, and then making. Go back and listen to this. Hear about the deal that I'm making. Emphasis. Really emphasizing the strong points of the lyrical lines, the lyrics, and also reinforcing the melody. And then she comes in with this great falsetto part here. It's great. And just before we get to the chorus, I want to take it back, and one other thing I want to point out. So, well, we've got that static, gallopy kind of bass going on, pedaling the root note, right? You've got all these chords moving around, and they're kind of playing with like the offbeat kind of feel of the vocals. Like, check it out. There's a sus chord right there. That's pretty cool. And I like how it changes here. Chord progression. Chorus. Again, if I only could, I'd make a deal with God and get him to swap our places. Like there's such strong emphasis in the melody on the really important words here to really bring home the message of the tune. I don't know if this was Kate Bush's idea to emphasize like the certain words and bring like a strong emphasis to the rhythm. I don't know if it was the producers, but it's a brilliant arranging choice and a brilliant choice for vocal delivery. You've got the pad synth and the Fairlight synth as well. Building. She goes kind of soft. And that cheesy little synth is kind of there as like a little, it almost kind of sounds like a little meowing cat or like a little squeaky kind of synth mouse. That's how I imagine it in my head. And it's just kind of there and like popping up and going squeak every once in a while with the melody and just bringing that really quirky melody back. And like it's also interspersed in between like the little chord stabs that she's doing, right? And then those are over top the synth pad, and then that's over top the galloping synth bass. So there's so much layering going on here. There's tons of layering and production going on here. And throughout it all, you've just got the driving gallop of the Lindrum, of the drum machine. Great stuff. She brings her vocals back down soft. And that suspending chord is just held in the background. Yeah, this is background vocals again. Oh God, on the lies. But see how deep the bullet lies, and just the way she delivers it. Like, I love how she goes from like this very, almost kind of nasally head voice, kind of sweet and serene, and then when she really wants to emphasize something, she goes into her chest voice, right? And she just brings this like this this deepness, this darkness to like the words that she really wants to emphasize. I think in men it would be a baritone, and women, she's probably going down to tenor range. Lies, yeah, that's like tenor for me. So, yeah, she's playing a lot with her range here as a vocalist, and she's giving an absolute masterclass in vocal performance and delivery here. I gotta say. Lies, and she just got that brightness, that twang to her. Asunder. Who uses asunder in a pop tune? Who uses the word asunder in a pop tune? Like, see how deep the bullet lies? Unaware I'm tearing you asunder. Who writes pop lyrics like that anymore? That's fucking great. That's brilliant. That's brilliant shit. Oh my god. Again, you hear the emphasis on asunder and thunder, the rhyming words, and then on hearts. Nice harmonies. And what's interesting is in this line, is there's so much hate for the ones we love. She doesn't emphasize any particular word, and you hear that it just flows, like the harmonies all flow together. Check it out. It's just a nice flow. Yeah, so matter and we. I just love how she's just building on that right before the chorus. It's you and me, won't be unhappy. And she's got, whenever she wants to emphasize something, she brings a real brightness and a real twang, right? Very focused from the forward to the mask of the face. You singers will know what I'm talking about when I say that. And she just, she's such a brilliant goddamn vocalist. Honestly and truly, this is great. It's you and me. It's you and me. You won't be unhappy. And if I could, I'd make a deal with God. And she's singing it even stronger, this chorus. And what's cool is there's this really kind of like crackly sort of distorted kind of synth that's in the background over top, that's like emphasizing like the discordantness of like the suspendedness of the sus chords. So for those of you who don't know what a sus chord is, you take like a major chord or a minor chord, right? So you've got your root, your minor third, and your fifth, and then you take that third out and then you replace it with the second, right, or a fourth. And what makes it a suspended in sound is that a second or a fourth is right beside your root or your fifth. So those two notes are going to clash because there's not a lot of distance between them. And that's what kind of gives that kind of suspended, very dissonant kind of sound with the sus chord. And it adds a lot of tension and a lot of color and a lot of flair to the song. And just check out how this kind of gnarly, kind of distorted synth in the background here when the chorus kicks in for the second time. It just helps to build that tension. Whoever produced this and arranged this is a goddamn genius. You hear it? It's kind of a crackly thing over top the pads. Oh, and I love that. And it's just kind of holding that note, and they're kind of like building on those kind of like Sting-esque kind of vocals, those Police-ish kind of vocals. And I love how she holds, and then it's going down. It's almost kind of menacing, eh? now that I think about it. I love how those yo. It's just like a theme. It's like a leitmotif that kind of builds throughout the tune. And I just love how it builds throughout the verses, and then they do something a little bit different with it in the chorus. But it's kind of like a theme that comes up, a leitmotif that comes up throughout the tune. It's almost kind of like an anchor that kind of draws you back, brings you back in as the listener. Yes! Okay. We gotta talk about this rhythm guitar that's just showing up. I know, I keep pausing, but we're doing analysis, baby. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. Go to another reaction channel where they just nod their heads. It's not what we do here. We do analysis. Okay, this fucking brilliant rhythm guitar part, which is like in almost every goddamn 80s pop tune I can think of. Like, you hear shit like this in, like, Thriller, Michael Jackson, or Billie Jean, right? And there's like this nice little palm mute on it, and it's just kind of funky and syncopated, and just, whenever something like this comes up in an 80s pop tune, I'm an absolute sucker for it. It just grooves, and it kills so hard. Just, this makes you want to vibe, right? Listen. Love the syncopatedness. Oh, you hear that little arpeggio it did just now, the guitar? Oh, listen to this. And when he goes up, he even deadens his palm mute, the guitarist, even more, and it just like, oh god, that just that's a sound orgasm right there. Oh, so good. And like, let's talk about these harmony vocals. I know I've been going on about the guitar, but let's talk about these harmony vocals, eh? Yeah. I love that. Let me steal this moment from you now. So boom. So she's like emphasizing let me steal, again, strong beats on like the action word on steal, right? And then this moment from you now, she just kind of like she lets the rest of the line flow. So you've got 3 strong accents and then a nice flow. Let's hear it again. Oh, darling, let me steal this moment from you now. Come on, angel, come on, darling. Let's exchange the experience. Oh God. Okay, yeah. So again, and you've got the yos throughout. You've got the emphasis on exchange and experience, and the harmonies are strong. But then this monstrous gated tom fill, like, you know, like Phil Collins in The Air Tonight type kind of tom fill, which was like, this sound was all the rage with like the gated reverb in the 80s. That's the 80s sound, right? And I used to hate this sound. I used to absolutely fucking despise it. No lie. No word of a lie. And I love it now. In certain contexts. Some contexts I still don't like it, but like in this, when that tom fill comes in, it's like that, it's like the infamous tom fill, the drum fill that Phil Collins does in The Air Tonight. You know, the you guys know the one. You know the one I'm talking about, right? So, like, again, there's like so many little references in the production of this tune to what was popular at the time. Like, I'm hearing the Iron Maiden style gallop, right, in the drum machine, in the kind of static synth bass pattern. You've got the yeah the yeah ooh kind of Sting Police-esque kind of vocals, and then you've kind of got the Phil Collins in the Air Tonight reference with the toms, right? It was like a big hit in 80, 81, and this came out like what, 4 years later? So I mean, like by this point, these kind of tom fills were like, if you got a pop tune, you gotta have one of these moments, right? It's the fucking 80s. Let's exchange the experience. Oh god, that's such a great fill. We gotta hear it again. Love that guitar. It's a great tom fill. And then we've got some heavy distorted rhythm guitar just in the back, padding up the sound, adding a little bit of heaviness, and then she's just got these great harmonies, and she goes into her lower range, and it's bright, but it's also dark, kind of menacing. She's got a real menacing quality to her voice when she wants to, and I don't know. I almost find the vocals kind of threatening. I don't know if anybody else is getting that vibe, but like, she's got this menacing kind of threatening voice, and I'm in love with it. I love it. Yeah. Whoop. There's that synth again. So, right before the chorus comes back in, you can hear these little, I don't know what you call them, but they're kind of like electronic drums. They're very faint, they're kind of hissy, and they kind of just like show up, and there's this little cool pattern that they do. Check this out. Right about here. And that... Okay, so now we've got layering, right? So you've got the turn of the funky rhythm guitar, right? And then you've got the chorus vocals. But then in the background, you've got Kate Bush singing her ass off and just wailing away and screaming away and just bringing so like it's just when you think the song can't get more intense and more in your face and more menacing, she ups the ante. You go, girl. I love you. Those little high notes, very faint in the background. Oh. Yeah, so like you're like a little stab of electric guitar. And then another great tom fill. And I love how she just gives the delivery of no problems, or whatever it is. I can't sing on key today. Ignore me. No problems. I love these highs. You hear these kind of like, they must have layered so many takes of her voice, because you can hear like various like multiple Kate Bushes just kind of screaming, and they're all kind of often discordant with each other. Like they don't really form a harmony, they form some dissonance, and it just adds, again, they're building tension throughout the tune. They're building intensity throughout the tune. That menacingness that like starts off as like this kind of like simmer is now at like a fucking raging boil, and like the pot's just boiling over, right? So like it's great how they've layered this and how they've built on this. I love that guitar. It's really swell. You hear the multiple screaming Kate Bushes? So that's cool. The little melody synth, right? It's actually doubling her vocals. It's very faint, and it's mixed right behind her voice to emphasize it. So check it out. Here it doubles on No Problems. Oh, that was a nice scream. Look at that. This side. It's either a guitar or a human, I can't tell. And it's just going nuts. It's just chaos. Oh god, yeah. There's so much tension and release here. Like if you go back, right, and you've got all this kind of crazy layering of vocals and guitars and stuff going on, and it builds the tension. Then when she gets to no problems, right, and it's just a release, and then it goes to build the tension again. So it's like a peak in a valley, Brilliant arranging, brilliant composing. I just love how she's so free with her rhythm and her melody. She's very playful. Very playful. Like just the you hear that in the background? Check this out. It's nuts. You hear that really high vocal? Like, that's insane. That's nuts. It's like, you don't think it can get more intense and more crazy and just more chaotic, and it's just like, oh yeah, bro, watch me. Watch me. You think I'm done flexing? I'm not done flexing. just when you think this song can't flex anymore, it flexes again and harder. And just smacks you in the face. That's what makes it great. Love that scream. Oh. It's just. I love how she ends there. And I love that the guitar's doing. And then. And you've got that very, like, the very thin falsetto-y vocal, and then the lowered, like, the detuned vocal, and it's just creepy. It's just creepy. Like this song it's on the one hand happy and uplifting, and at the same time it's menacing and threatening and ominous. And creepy and chaotic, and it's just, what the hell? What the fuck? It's great. I can totally see why they use this for Stranger Things. It tonally, it fits with the series so well. Hats off to the Duffer Brothers for picking great fucking music for their show. Love that. The guitars. Like shit. That's just so creepy. And then it just ends on this minor chord. And the sus chord that we started with is just going to fade out. Just like it faded in at the beginning. Just... some fucking mad scientist or producer crafted this. I'm so glad they did. This is just a masterclass in production. It's a masterclass in arranging. It's a masterclass in just songwriting and just vocal delivery. And That girl can sing. She's got one hell of a voice. She's got a very unique voice. She's got this very powerful, uplifting, yet very menacing and creepy and musical theater-ish kind of voice. Like she's like the female lead in a musical, and she's like the I don't know, the creepy clown madam or something. I don't know what I'm saying, but like horror vibes for days with this. Obviously, I can see why they use this in Stranger Things. This is brilliant. I love this. I love this so much. Yeah. So I think that's it for today. Kate Bush. Damn girl. Damn. Yeah. So if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button below. Ring the bell to get notified when I post a new video. Give the video a thumbs up, a like, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this reaction, what you think of this tune, this massive, massive hit of a tune. No wonder it's #1. It's so fucking good. This makes me happy. I love well-crafted pop music. As much as I love prog rock and metal and classic rock, I'm a sucker for well-crafted, well-written, well-produced pop music. And this is just a banger of a tune. So, hats off to Kate Bush and her team and her brilliant musicians on this, and her producer. Her producer's a genius. And yeah, just yeah. What else can I say? Oh, and if you want to support the channel, I'll leave a link to my Bandcamp if you want to get my new record. If you like blues music and progressive music, give it a listen. Buy a copy if you want. If you can't afford to get a record, you still want to help the channel out, I'll leave a link to my PayPal so you can like buy me a coffee or a tea or whatever. And if you want to support the channel that way, great. It's not required, but if you want to help me out, no harm done. And thank you so much. And thank you for all of you for just supporting the channel. I'm going to try and post another reaction video next week. I should have some time, but if I don't, yeah, I'll see you in a couple weeks probably. But hopefully next week too. And yeah, so that's it. I'll see you next time. Take care. Stay safe. Bye. Most menacing, uplifting pop tune. Such a contradiction. The most contradictory pop tune in the history of pop music? Maybe? Maybe. I think so.